He never forgot the sound of that knock, soft, shaky, almost desperate, echoing against the metal door of his truck in the middle of a cold, deserted highway. When he pulled it open, he saw a terrified woman clutching a crying baby, her clothes soaked from the rain, her voice barely more than a whisper. He thought he was just helping a stranger. But hours later, he discovered the truth. And that truth would shatter everything he believed about fate, forgiveness, and the people we're destined to meet. Sparkles Chapter 1, The Rain, the Road, and the Stranger. The rain had been falling for hours, drumming against Ethan Cole's truck like impatient fingers. He'd spent most of the day driving long-distance deliveries, and now all he wanted was a few minutes of rest. The highway was empty, swallowed by fog, the kind of night where even the moon seemed to hide. Ethan leaned back in his seat, rubbing his tired eyes. His life had been reduced to these long, lonely routes ever since the accident 2 years ago, the accident that took his wife and unborn child. Work became his escape, the road became his silence. And he preferred it that way. No conversations, no attachments, just the hum of the engine and the weight of memories he never talked about. Just as he was about to drift into a half-sleep, a faint sound jolted him. Knock. He froze. Out here, at this hour. Knock, knock, knock. This time, it was more urgent. Ethan reached for the small flashlight he kept beside the seat. His heart thudded against his chest, not out of fear, but out of the uncanny feeling that something big, something he couldn't explain, was about to happen. When he opened the door, the rain rushed in, cold and merciless. A young woman stood there, drenched from head to toe, holding a baby wrapped in a thin blanket. Her hands trembled. Her lips were blue from the cold. "Please," she whispered. "We need help." Ethan's first instinct was caution. He had heard stories, setups, tricks, robberies. But the baby's weak cry cut through the noise in his mind. No criminal would bring a child into weather like this. And no con artist looked this genuinely desperate. "Get in," he said, stepping aside. She hesitated for half a second, enough time for fear to flash across her face, then climbed in. Ethan shut the door, shielding them from the storm. The baby cried softly, like he was too tired to be loud. Ethan turned on the heater immediately. "Thank you," the woman said, brushing wet strands of hair off her face. "What are you doing out here?" "There's nothing for miles," Ethan asked. She swallowed, her eyes flickering with something unspoken. "My name is Lily, and I didn't have a choice." Ethan didn't press her. He could see fear lingering behind her eyes, fear mixed with exhaustion and something else, pain. But the road had taught him patience. People opened up when they were ready. He handed her a bottle of water and turned the truck back onto the road. For the first 30 minutes, silence wrapped around them. But it wasn't the comfortable silence of strangers, it was the heavy silence of someone hiding something. Eventually, Lily spoke again, her voice cracking. "Ethan, do you believe people deserve second chances?" The question hit him harder than he expected. Memories he'd buried rose to the surface, screams, flashing lights, the sound of shattering glass. He took a breath. "I believe," he said slowly, "that sometimes life gives us chances we don't realize we need." Lily looked down at the baby, brushing her finger gently across his cheek. Tears clung to her eyelashes. "I hope you're right," she whispered. Hours passed. The storm eased. The baby slept. And Ethan started to feel a strange connection forming, a sense that this woman was running from something more dangerous than the weather. But nothing prepared him for what he was about to discover. Sparkles Chapter 2, The Truth That Changed Everything. They stopped at a small roadside diner, the kind that stayed open all night for truckers and lost travelers. The neon sign flickered weakly, buzzing against the silence of the cooling night air. Inside, Lily fed the baby while Ethan ordered warm food. She looked calmer now, though her eyes still darted toward the windows, as if expecting someone to burst in. Ethan watched her quietly. The way she held the baby, protective, almost fragile, told him she was carrying a burden far heavier than her small frame suggested. Finally, he asked, "Lily, what are you running from?" Her fingers tightened around the baby bottle. Her voice trembled. "My past," she said. "And the man who wants to destroy it." Ethan didn't know what that meant, but his instincts sharpened. He leaned forward, lowering his voice. "You're safe here. You can tell me." She hesitated. Her breath stuttered. Then the dam broke. The baby, He's not mine, she said. Ethan felt a jolt of surprise, but Lily continued before he could say a word. I was a nurse at St. Haven's Hospital. 2 weeks ago, a newborn went missing. Everyone thinks the mother abandoned him. But she didn't. Lily's voice cracked. She died. Ethan's chest tightened. So, you took him? No. I saved him, she whispered fiercely. The man who was supposed to take care of him, her husband, he didn't want the baby. He blamed the child for her death. He said he'd leave him somewhere he wouldn't be found. Horror rippled through Ethan. So I ran, Lily said, tears spilling down her cheeks. I couldn't let him hurt this child. Ethan leaned back, absorbing the weight of her confession. The baby stirred softly, unaware of the storm surrounding his tiny life. What's stopping you from going to the police? Ethan asked. Lily let out a small, broken laugh. Because he is the police. A high-ranking officer. No one would believe me. I barely got the baby out of the hospital. Ethan felt anger simmer in his chest, a protective instinct he hadn't felt since losing his own family. He stared at the baby, then at Lily. Why come to me? He asked quietly. I didn't choose you, Lily said. The storm did. The road did. Maybe, fate. The word landed heavily. Fate. The same force Ethan had been running from. Before he could speak, the diner door swung open, letting in a burst of cold air. A man entered. Tall. Broad. Wearing a uniform beneath his coat. Lily froze. Ethan's heartbeat quickened. The man scanned the room, then locked eyes with them. That's him, Lily whispered, gripping the baby tight. That's the man looking for us. Ethan stood slowly, his instincts igniting. The past he'd been hiding from collided with the present he couldn't avoid. Because helping Lily wasn't just an act of kindness anymore.